Hello, everybody, and welcome to this next Global Azure session from Gimme Cloud Talks. In this session, I'm going to be talking about cloud security training paths. So, if you're looking for, and I talked about it if you were just on the Connecting in the Cloud session that me and Amy Collier were doing, we were talking a little bit about certain certifications and certain ways to go in terms of cloud security that were vendor neutral. I'm going to cover really all of the hyperscalers to some degree, as well as vendor neutral certifications that you can go after. But I'm going to focus mainly on the two that are near and dear to me that I teach on, and that's ISC squared and Microsoft. So just to give a little bit about myself, those of you that don't know me, my name's Dwayne Natwick. I am a Microsoft Security MVP. I'm also the Global Principal Cloud Security Tech Lead at Eviden, which is a newly branded organization that is an Atos business currently. We were the digital cloud and security part of Atos, and we have become our own brand. I've been in the IT industry for 30 years. I have multiple ISC squared and Microsoft certifications. Some of them are on this slide. I've also written 3 certification guidebooks for Microsoft. The security compliance and identity fundamentals, the identity and access management administrator guide, as well as the cybersecurity reference architecture guide. So I've also been an MCT for going on 5 years, but I've been doing a lot of training for a long time. And like I said, I'm also an ISC squared authorized trainer for their certified in cybersecurity, their cloud security, their CISSP are the 3 that I can currently teach. I also recently passed the governance, risk, and compliance certification, and I'm waiting for that certification, and then can hopefully after a grace period, I get to teach that as well. I can be followed on these social media links. This presentation is being streamed on LinkedIn, Twitter, as well as my Captain Hyperscaler YouTube channel. So feel free to go to that. Those recordings will be available there afterwards. Probably the easiest way would be to find it in YouTube on that channel, because I have all these sessions going into a Global Azure playlist. So everything that's being recorded on YouTube, both my sessions as well as the other presenter sessions will be located there if I'm hosting them. So there's a couple sessions that I know Wim Matheson and Mika Wetz did a presentation yesterday on Teams that they hosted, as well as Brad Gorman did his session on his platform. But you can certainly find them out there. I'm working on getting the team session to put on the YouTube channel so everybody has it, or give a link on the Gimme Cloud Talks sessions for this event. You could probably get to those as well. So let's get to the session. So what are we going to talk about? We're going to talk about the different career paths and around ISC squared. Like I said, most of this presentation is going to be on ISC squared as well as Microsoft, but we're going to also hit the other hyperscalers. Microsoft has a very strong multi-cloud attitude, I guess, for lack of a better term, or approach would be a better term. Approach to how to manage things within the cloud, and noting that there's hybrid aspects. There's other hyperscalers out there besides just Microsoft and Microsoft Azure. So understanding Amazon Web Services, Google Cloud Platform is great. If we're talking vendor neutral, like I said, ISC squared is one that I've been involved in, and for many years. I became a member in 2009 when I passed my CISSP, and we'll talk about some of the evolution that they've gone through to make it more accessible to more people as well. And then the Cloud Security Alliance (CSA) has some has some security capabilities that they have. Their cloud security matrix is one that has been adopted and adapted into a lot of other training, as well as into some standards around controls that we can go on. And CompTIA has been around a long time. Has been a credentialing company and training company for for as long as I've been in technology or can remember. Around all sorts of different areas, not just cybersecurity, but around IT and around document management and things like that. They've had different training and certification programs. So and they have built a pretty strong cybersecurity level of training and certifications as well. So I'm going to bring that up as well. There's also a whole bunch of other ones. There's that I'm not going to get on today. There's EC Council there that does the certified ethical hacker and things like that. There are there's a SCOTA or ISACA. Asaka would be how that would be pronounced as a mnemonic acronym. But those are all ways that we can get trained, get a level of understanding around cybersecurity if you're new to cybersecurity. But I'm going to give you some ideas and some thought patterns around a path that you can take around cybersecurity. So let's start with ISC squared. And giving some links here. So if you come back and look, this is an easy way to get to it, going to ISC squared or isc2.org /certifications. And you can see here, these are kind of the main ones. They've got a few other ones. They've got some specializations off of the CISSP that you can utilize and can take advantage of once you get your CISSP. But kind of your main paths here are just like Microsoft, and their fundamental certifications is they're certified in cybersecurity. And this is only a couple years old, if that, and it is their entry level. And it has made the ISC squared membership and much more accessible to a lot of people. And I'll talk more about it in a moment. We'll get into further detail around this particular certification. And if you're in my previous webinar, or the previous session with Amy, we were talking about that towards the end. And so I'll give some further details around how to get into that. Their benchmark or their flagship certification has always been the Certified Information System Security Professional, the CISSP. This has been known for years. My organization has dozens, if not hundreds, of CISSPs within our security organization. It has been the benchmark. It is something that governments use, especially the U.S. government. It's for understanding security. Has a very strong NIST-based curriculum around and U.S. government-based curriculum, but it's transferable globally because if you are doing your due diligence and your due care around security, all of the things around hardening devices and things all play globally. It's not just specific, but because ISC squared does do a lot of work for the federal government, does a lot of training for the federal government. They a lot of these certifications have a very strong NIST basis, which again, NIST has become because of the multi-dimensional tiers of it and the levels and the level of depth that NIST goes into. It's probably that's probably a reason why you see NIST be talked about a lot more outside of just the U.S. The CGRC, which is over here, kind of by itself on the right, kind of because the other ones here have a lot to do with infrastructure-based security and things like that, where we kind of lump governance, risk, and compliance in with in with our security, and rightfully so, because our security controls all go into our governance, risk, and compliance, and how we're managing risk and how we're being compliant. But it really, it's really kind of its own path. You can, if you're somebody that is a risk executive or in risk management, or need to manage, and govern compliance and risk within your organization, that's kind of a standalone. I feel like you don't necessarily always have to, go down that CISSP track or anything like that. The SSCP is the Security Administrator and Operations Professional, a little bit different than the CISSP. When we think and we'll talk as we go down each of one of these paths a little bit more in terms of where the role and, kind of the job task analysis aspect of these kind of go in. And then the last one here is the Certified Cloud Security Professional. So, if you're in cloud, if you're in Azure, AWS, Google, or all of the three, even VMware, if you're, private cloud, Cloud Security Professional is a great certification to get as well. It's seen as kind of a partner to the CISSP. If you already have your CISSP and go and pass your CCSP, it's a very easy process to get that application passed through, because you can self-endorse, which is something that I'll bring up right now. The certified in cybersecurity, you don't need any experience. With all of these other ones, you need a certain level of experience. I think the CISSP and the CCSP both are 5 years. The CGRC is 2. And I think maybe the SSCP is also 2. If you go to the certification page, it'll tell you. But there's 2 things you have to do when you pass the exam. So passing the exam doesn't get you the certification right away. You have to you get an email from member services at ISC Squared to go to this link to apply for your certification. And then you go through the application process. With certified in cybersecurity, it's more just a checkbox that you agree to the terms and conditions, the code of ethics, and you'll get your certification. With the others, you have to actually put in some job experience or educational experience that attests for the level of experience that's required for the exam. So, if you go right to the CCSP, that is, I believe it's 5 years. Same thing with the CISSP. You apply. You also have to have somebody endorse you that already is a credential holder. So and it doesn't have to be that, if you're applying for the CISSP, it doesn't have to be somebody with the CISSP. They can have the SSCP or the CCSP or the CGRC. They just have to be a credential holder within ISC Squared with one of these advanced credentials. I don't think if you're certified, if you're a CC, that you can endorse somebody for one of these. When you do that, you put your job experience in there so they can see that, they can vouch for you, and then it goes to the review process with ISC Squared, and you'll get your certification in, they say 4 to 6 weeks. I've seen it come through a little bit quicker than that, but I'm waiting for one right now for the CGRC. So I will update everybody on how long that one took. Knock on wood that my application gets approved, hopefully. So fingers crossed there. But so understand that passing the exam is great. If you don't have and anybody can take these exams and pass these exams, even if you don't have the work experience. Like I said, you'll get the CC right away without work experience, but all these other ones, you would be tagged as an associate of ISC Squared, which just says, hey, you've passed the exam, but you don't have the certification yet. You're working on your work experience, which, still would look good on a resume that, hey, I passed this exam. So let's go a little bit deeper into each one of these a little bit. So we'll, I think I went too far. Let's go back here. Let me try to go back. No, actually, it is where I started. Okay, path to cloud security. So so this is the cybersecurity. That's why. Okay, yeah, I had the title wrong, so it threw me off. This is the path to cybersecurity, really. So understand that this is for the certified in cybersecurity, foundational or fundamentals or entry level exam. What you want to do first and foremost, which is this is a great a great aspect and something that they changed within ISC squared within the last the last within the last year. They've created this ISC squared candidate, which ultimately what you're doing is you're signing up to be a member of ISC squared. You pay your first year of annual maintenance fees, which is really your membership fee. It's an AMF that everybody that has a credential has to pay, and you become an ISC squared candidate. I recommend everybody does this first and foremost, and you're going to have to if you do one of the things that I'm about to mention. But what this does is ISC squared has had leaders in the industry build content that they're now releasing as these ISC squared skill builders. So there are skill builders around all of these certifications that are free to members. So you start getting member benefits as soon as you pay that AMF fee, so you can access this content. All right. So there you go. Not sure how much it is a year. It's under $100. I believe it's under $100 a year for your ISC squared membership. I can't remember. I paid it back in October, and a lot has gone on since then. But understand that you get a lot of benefits. You get benefits with these skill builders, and then in the middle of this here are the certificate programs. Certificate programs are great. They are paid, but you get a discount as a member. So again, member benefits. And we'll go through a little deeper on some of these on some of the other slides, but these are really cool because you do pay for them. But what you do when you pay for them is you get a certificate as well as a Credly badge for these ones here in the middle. So you get some things, you get that badge of honor that you can present out there in the world. There aren't any specific around these certificate programs for the certified in cybersecurity. There are some specific ones in the skill builders, but a really important thing around this is this link here. And I mentioned this on the Connecting in the Clouds session here earlier. They're doing a 1 million certified in cybersecurity program right now. They're trying to get 1 million people to hold this credential. Like I said, this credential's I think maybe a little over a year and a half old, maybe a little over a year old. And if you do not hold a CISSP or any of the other credentials, if you're new to ISC squared, you go to this link here for the ISC squared, and I can actually, maybe I can. No, I can't post it in here, so I'll type it here real quick. I'll post a comment here. Give me a second. iscsquared.org/landing/1 million cybersecurity. There we go. So if you're watching on Captain Hyperscaler, you can find that link. If not, you can watch this and just type it up. This gets you to a landing page. Takes you through the process of becoming an ISC squared candidate. And once you do that, you get access to free training for the certified in cybersecurity, the free on-demand course, which most people would have to pay for, as well as a voucher for the exam. So you can go through that training, go get a voucher for the exam, which is $199 US usually, and go take that exam and hopefully pass that exam. And now you are an ISC squared credential holder, at the foundational level. So, which is really great for everybody. I mean, this is for students, for people changing their careers, for somebody that's in IT that wants to move to security. This is where it'll take you. So this is your starting point. Again, it's vendor independent as well. So the information that you learn here can be transferred and utilized on some of the other hyperscaler specific trainings as well. It was very in-depth exam. I took the exam I like to take exams. If you look behind me, I have a lot of certifications, a lot of things up on the wall. So I kind of collect badges on Credly. It seems like it's kind of like how I used to collect Matchbox cars and Star Wars figures. but we can all say that it's nice to have, nice to get a certification, nice to pass an exam. It's good to see on the resume, good to see on your LinkedIn profile and things like that. And this is your first step. So after you've gone through this, now maybe we want to go a step further. Maybe we want to go down kind of that CISO path of cybersecurity leadership. That is the CISSP. Again, you have to have a certain level of of experience that can be accounted for. So you have to be able to say, hey, I've been in security operations or whatever. It's in one or more of the domains that are part of CISSP. You don't necessarily have to have this, like the fundamentals exams within Microsoft. You don't have to have the certified in cybersecurity to sit for this exam. And if you have experience, get the certification. That's not a prerequisite. So make that clear. Certified in cybersecurity is not a prerequisite to any of these exams, nor any of the certificate programs or the skill builders. It's just like if you're going down the path of Azure Microsoft security certification, you don't need the SC 900 exam to take the SC 100, the SC 300, and get those certifications, the AZ 500. But they're nice to have. It's a good start. So again, they're skill builders for around cybersecurity leadership. I went through this cloud or this CIS, not the cloud security, but the CISO certification certificate program. 5 courses, really great courses, really fun courses. Actually, this was my favorite of the certificate programs by far, because they made it really interactive. It was like you were talking to a cybersecurity consultant on Teams and things like that. So it was a really fun course to take. Again, if you go and get that membership as a candidate, you can start taking these classes and get them for a discount. So highly recommended that you get your membership and go through the certified in cybersecurity. Next up is the cloud security piece. The cloud security, they have cloud security skill builders. They have the certificate programs for that. And again, then the CISSP comes next. So they've got paths now. It used to be, and I highly recommend going through one of the courses, an instructor-led course. Like I said, I'm an authorized instructor with ISC Squared. I love teaching the courses and talking about cybersecurity. So are the other authorized instructors. They're passionate about this. So I just took the CGRC through ISC Squared with Roy Harrell. Shout out to Roy and his great training and his great level of understanding around governance, risk, and compliance, and the programs and the NIST and the ISO and all of the requirements and standards that are part of that, and understand his understanding of the risk management framework and how it goes with software development life cycle, and all of those things were all amazing. And so that's what you get out of instructor-led training that you don't get really on these skill builders. These skill builders are reading, there's some videos. Like I said, the leadership one was really interactive, which was cool. But they're all great, and all great ways. Everybody learns differently, and I generally use all of myself. So those are all things to take into account and to understand. But like I said, you get that initial ISC Squared candidate, you get the free skill builders. So any kind of training that you can get for free is great, just like Microsoft Learn. And then the certificate programs, you get get Credly. You got to pay, get a discount if you're a member, and you get a Credly badge when you complete those, as well as if you've already passed your certified in cybersecurity and start taking some of these certificates, they go towards your continuing education credits for the following year. So you got that going for you too. Next up is lost my mouse here. Hold on a sec. Where'd my mouse go? Technical difficulties, sorry. Something happened here. Hold on. Hold on, let me shut my mouse off and back on. Can't find my mouse. All right, hold on. Not advancing my slides. Can't find my mouse. Hopefully my stream's still going. That one's working. Or if my Bluetooth shut off. Hold on. All right, this is causing a bit of a problem here. Hold on. I think my Bluetooth shut off on me, which is not good because I don't have a keyboard connected. All right, everybody. My apologies. I don't know how I'm going to end. All right. Hold on one second here. Let me try and figure something else out here. Just give me a second to go somewhere else here and get my just bear with me. I'm going on another computer here and trying to get to my content, and I'll bring it up there. Join the stream from another place. Sorry, everybody. All right, so. All right, found the slideshow. Now I got to get into the stream here. Hold on. Thankfully, I have that ready here. Thank you to whoever is attending live. I'm not going to do the camera here. There we go. Hopefully we're. Oh, hold on one second. All right. There we go. All right. Sorry, I'm on two computers. I had to get that muted and get my mic muted. I see somebody is online listening on LinkedIn. Can you let me know you can hear me and that the slides now are moving? Are my slides moving and can you hear me okay? Hopefully so. All right. So let's get through here real quick and move on to Microsoft because we're now half an hour into this session. So certified, the cloud security is your next up. Thank you for making that comment. And then, as I said, you get certificates, and then next up is our our certified in governance, risk, and compliance. So we have our governance, risk, and compliance certification. Again, you can do the certified in cybersecurity. You don't have to. Again, there's also risk certification certificate program. Sorry, in the middle there with those badges is the certificate program. And again, pay a small fee, get a Credly badge. Skill builders are free when you get an ISC squared candidate. There's a software lifecycle professional as well that I didn't bring up on the first slide. And then there's also the operations analyst or operations security professional also. So that takes you through kind of, I forgot to put the lifecycle professional on here. But those are the kind of the main there's 5 main advanced certifications. There's the entry level certified in cybersecurity, and then there are also 2 or 3 additional like additive like specialization level for the CISSP if you're interested as well. So let's get into Microsoft a little bit. Let's talk about this path and the Microsoft path. So, this is Global Azure. So let's talk about Microsoft. Microsoft has their fundamentals with the SC900 and security, compliance, and identity. And then you can kind of take a couple different paths. It's, good to choose your own adventure, so to speak, around cybersecurity. You go through SC900 is probably, that, and the SC200 are, and the cybersecurity for that matter, are the exams that take into account both Microsoft 365 and Azure. So you take your SC900, you get a high level understanding. Again, high level, it's not a deep dive, but you can understand and you can find out what is happening in terms of, and you can get a, kind of a descriptive level of all of the security capabilities and compliance capabilities and identity capabilities around Microsoft 365 and Azure. So from there, I always say, which path you're going to take, where you're going to go next. What is your job? Are you involved in Microsoft 365 in your organization and SaaS technologies, or are you in cloud infrastructure? That's where you kind of determine whether you're going to go Microsoft 365 path or an Azure path. And I have MS 500 on here still because the exam is still offered at the time of this recording. But it is going to be retired at the end of June 2023. So you can take the exam. You still get the certification today over the next, less than 60 days, 45 days or so. You can get this certification. It's a very broad certification around everything that's, for the most part, covered in SC300 and SC400 and a little bit in SC200. That's why it's gone away. There was thoughts around this when the SC exams first came out. Is what is the MS 500 going away? And at the time they were like, no, it's got some things that aren't in the other curriculum. Well, as the SC 300 and SC 400 and SC 200 have evolved over the last 2 years, they added some of those components into the SC 400. Really is where it really that it was a lot of the compliance and purview type stuff that was like e-discovery and like insider risk that wasn't in the SC 400. I think insider risk was, but like especially the e-discovery was not in the SC 400 when it first came out, and it was kind of what they were using as kind of the benchmark for keeping MS 500. They're adding that all into SC 400 and expanding that exam and that curriculum, training. It was a 2 to 3 day course. Now it's a 3 to 4 day course, I believe. So that'll be going away. That'll be dropping off. If I do this in July, do an update in July, MS 500 will be gone. But it's important to have it there now. AZ 500's the Azure specific security exam, everything Azure, everything around, Azure networking, protecting containers, protecting storage accounts, all of those is in there. SC 300, good to have, good to go through if you're Microsoft 365 or Azure. It's Identity and Access Administrator. The SC900, the SC300, and we'll talk about the SC100 in a minute, are all the ones that I've written books. So you can kind of head down your path that way. SC400, again, is around information protection, compliance, purview level type stuff here. SC200 is your operations. It's talking about Microsoft 365 Defender, Microsoft Defender for Cloud, and super heavy on Microsoft Sentinel. So those are the things you go on there. And then you've got your expert level badge, is your certified cybersecurity architect, which we'll talk about in the next slide as well. And here it is. So again, as I've said multiple times, SC900, I always put the fundamentals exams in front of the advanced exams because it's important to have that foundational knowledge. It's also important, what I think as a test taker, is taking that SC900 and is a lower cost exam, and it gets you familiar with the exam taking process with Microsoft, and it gives you a broad understanding around all of the security, all those technologies that really come into play on these other exams. So as you build on your certification and define your path, I think starting with fundamentals is really something you should do. Like I said, but it's not a requirement. Now, if you are going through the SC100, and I've made the mistake of not putting SC100 on these on both of these slides, but the SC100 is being noted here, the expert exam. But this is kind of your path here. You just taking the SC100 does not get you the cybersecurity architect expert. And that's kind of why I just put the badge there and not actually the exam. Taking the exams for all of these associate as well as the fundamentals get you those badges. The cybersecurity architect goes a step further. You have a prerequisite. Right now, the prerequisites are SC200, SC300, MS500, and AZ500. You only have to take and pass one of those exams. All right. So, and my assumption is going to be that once the MS500 is retired and the SC400 is expanded, the SC400 is going to replace the MS500. Don't quote me on that. I don't have any insider information on that, but that's my assumption. So any one of those 4 exams and take and pass the SC100 gets you the expert level exam. So, so you got a little bit more work to do to get the expert badge. It's no different than any of the other expert badges. There's a prerequisites for all the expert badges now. For the, I think the new MS 102, I think there's still like MS 500. It's one of the badges, as well as some others. And then, like the solution architect requires like the AZ 104, the administrator credential. I think also I'm not sure if the developer's on that. I think it's just the AZ 104. For the DevOps expert, you need either the AZ 104 or the AZ 204 associate level badges. So that is your path to the cybersecurity expert. Like I said, if anybody's interested in hard copy books for that, the SC900. I've written a book on that, or if you're going down that expert path, I've done the SC300 as well as the SC100 exam study guides. So if you like book learning instead of instructor-led type training, that's a good one. Also, a good way to go about training is the Microsoft Learn and Learning Expert Rooms, which is something that they just launched within the last couple months. My friend Brian Gorman has a Azure Fundamentals and Developer page. I have a cybersecurity page that I'm talking about ISC squared certifications as well as and Microsoft certifications. You can join the learning room and join anybody's learning room with this link here, which I don't know if I can copy a link. Hold on, let me try and go to it here. Hold on a sec. Sorry. and you can see you put your name, email, and go next, and then it'll have everybody's learning room listed there. So keep that in mind. I'm going to put that up here for everybody. It's a long thing there. So there is I think it truncated it, unfortunately. But sorry, you can if you go to your favorite search engine and you type Microsoft Learning Expert Rooms directory, you can find it. I'll tell you that right now. But a great way to learn, great way to actually interact with trainers and MVPs that are out there. So I recommend you take advantage of that. Join rooms that are of your interest and of your path that you want to take. Like I said, I've decided to make it cybersecurity from beginner to expert. I've got rooms and channels for ISC squared exams as well, or cybersecurity exams, vendor independent, as well as all of the Microsoft certification exams for cybersecurity are all part of that, with the exception of SC 400, which I recommend you go to Raphael's room on Purview. So that's great there as well. As we wrap up here, within AWS also has a security specialty. I recommend you can go straight to the security specialty. You don't have to have the practitioner. I'm not saying it's a prerequisite. I'm just saying it's a good start as you're taking your path. But I also think that doing the solution architect associate is helpful as well. But you can go directly to that specialty. Something about AWS exams to understand is the requirements for passing the exam is different. If you're somebody that's taken Microsoft exams, you know that it's getting a 700 or over on a 1000 scale for the exam. AWS is a little bit different. The practitioner is 700 out of 1000. The associate exams are 725 out of 1000. You have to get over a 725 or get a 725 or over. And any of the specialty or professional exams, which professional exams are kind of security and professional are treated very similarly to an expert level exam within Microsoft. Those are a 750. So each level you have to score a little bit higher to attain that level of expertise, to be deemed as you have the proper level of knowledge around that. So you got to get a little bit higher for those. So keep that in mind. Google has, again, similar path to AWS. You can go right to security engineering professional, probably not recommended. The cloud digital leaders, kind of their entry level around all of the Google technology and Google Cloud technology. So similar path from them, similar 700 in a scale of 1000 to pass those exams. Cloud Security Alliance, like I said, they have multiple different trainings and certifications. Their benchmark or flagship is the Certificate of Cloud Security Knowledge, the CCSK, which actually, going back to ISC squared, the CCSP, ISC squared worked very closely with CSA and took a lot of the CCSK into the CCSP. So those two are very similar. Were very similar. The CCSP was just was updated last fall of 2022, and they made a lot of changes to it as well when they did that. CompTIA, like I said, CompTIA has a very defined path as well with their Security Plus. Then they have their Security Architect Plus. They put plus after all of their certifications. There's nothing really. That's their thing. And the slide kind of overlaps some things. They got the Security Professional Plus, and then the Pen Test Plus are more advanced than those. The Security Plus is kind of seen as their entry level. It's a little scaled up from entry level, but it is one thing about CompTIA exams. The exams are not inexpensive. So hopefully you can get your company to pay for it, or have some way to expense it, or write it off as a business expense if you're independent person. So that's something there. And that gets us really to the end of this session. So hopefully, let me let's see. Somebody, let me see a couple questions here. Somebody asked, for someone who did fundamentals and straight to SC200, what could be the disadvantages for that? And so, yeah, I'll go back real quick to my learn a path. Again, this is my recommended path in a way. One of the things about SC200 is you do have to have a strong understanding of the Microsoft 365 Defender and the Microsoft Defender for Cloud Technologies. You don't have to go through all these paths. You really don't. I'm not saying that you have to. Like I said, the only prerequisites around the security around our security path is to the expert path and taking one of these exams. So you could go right to the SC200 if that's the case. A thing that but if you want to get all of the security certifications, this is kind of the path I recommend, I guess, is really the best way to put it. The SC200 is, to me, a step higher than a lot of associate exams, because it's very hands-on. It's very important that you really understand the environment. I would, just saying, I would almost say that exam over some of the other ones probably could be a expert level exam. It's very in between there, where but they're all these associate exams are not easy. So I just kind of, you kind of gain, you gain a little bit of Defender for Cloud understanding in the AZ 500. Same thing with 365 Defender and the MS 500. So these two are the information that you learn on these two are very helpful for 200, especially some of the identity things that we talk about in Identity and Access Administrator. Like Microsoft Defender for Cloud apps and conditional access policies, and utilizing those go into operations a little bit too. So that's why I kind of have this kind of at the end of the path. But like I said, you could jump right in, and that's really, I guess, from a standpoint of how I would say the disadvantage would be is you're going to have to do a lot more Defender learning for the SC200 if you haven't gone through some of these especially like the 500 exams. That's kind of my thought there. So, but that's a really good question. Like I said, this session is called choose your cloud security certification journey. And so I'm kind of giving you kind of just the recommended journey, but it's a journey. It's your own path. You got to find your own path, whether it's vendor independent with ISC squared or CompTIA or something like that, or whether it goes beyond that to and you get hyperscaler specific based on your job role to Azure, Microsoft 365. Those are all different ways to go. So keep that in mind. Like I said, I recommend you join a learning room. Join multiple learning rooms. I have my own learning room, and I'm a member of at least 3, maybe 4 of them. So these are great ways to get on a Teams channel, talk to peers, as well as other MVPs and MCTs that are out there that are really the administrators of the room, or the moderators of the room. They provide helpful information. A lot of the information that's on this presentation you can find in my learning room, because I've provided it on the wiki or in specific channels and things like that. I know Brian Gorman's done the same thing. He's doing his Sci-Fi DevCon event this month. And he's putting workshops and things. He did a workshop for Global Azure on the Gimme Cloud Talks site yesterday on Azure, on on Azure native and on serverless type technology. So he posted that on his Learn channel yesterday on his learning room. So for everybody to attend and learn something. And we all kind of all do that. We do it there a little differently in our own ways, but definitely ways to find find good content, find good information, get directed to where to go on Microsoft Learn for things. All of those things are all in those learning rooms. And I'm an open book. I'm happy to to answer any questions that anybody has. I appreciate some of the questions that were in chat. But my website provides blog content. You can also get to Gimme Cloud Talks to get to these sessions. Follow me on LinkedIn, catch me on Twitter. I'm generally active on all of those. So I look forward to everybody enjoying the rest of Global Azure. Again, I'll be doing another session here at the top of the hour. I'm going to try and reboot my computer to hopefully be able to share on the one that I usually share on. But I'm glad I was able to get things rectified on my other computer so I could share my presentation. But thank you, everybody. I really appreciate your time today. Thanks to all the Global Azure organizers as well. And go to globalazure.net and find some great sessions. Again, I'll be back streaming here in about 10 minutes. So thanks, everybody, with a different session. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy your weekend, and hope to see you soon.